Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. We have some news, but before we get into that, I just want to take a minute and ask you guys to make sure that if you like this type of content, that you hit that subscribe button as well as the bell next to it to be notified of every video I post here on the channel. And if you could do me a huge favor and give the video a thumbs up, that helps the channel out greatly every time you do that. Anyway, on with the news. The very first thing that I have for you guys is actually from Marco Makes. He is still pulling off even more brilliant sculpts in his long quest to create the Prehistoric Planet line. He has already shown off 2 sculpts prior to this video, but now as of making this video, we have 3 more sculpts that have been included in this line already. The very first one that you see here is the Tyrannosaurus, and that one looks really cool, and again, about as screen accurate as it gets to what you see on Prehistoric Planet, which it's really cool to see Marco kind of going all over the place as far as the different creatures he's creating, whereas we've seen dinosaurs up until this point. Now we see a marine reptile. He also has created, speaking of dinosaurs, the Tarbosaurus, and this one yet again looks picture perfect to what it looks like in Prehistoric Planet. As always, when it comes to a Marco Makes sculpt, he's very, very good at paying attention to exactly how these animals look in the films and documentaries and stuff that they are portrayed, and it's looking great here as far as this one goes. Really excited to get a hold of some of these at some point. And one that is also extremely exciting, we have the Corythoraptor, which I've never seen a figure of from anyone, so this is again a really cool species that was chosen for Prehistoric Planet, and even cooler to see Marco Makes sculpting one out that yet again looks as perfect as it gets. And then as far as the beasts of the Mesozoic goes, first of all, we have a look at some of the really cool 1/18th scale raptors, and honestly, they look just as impressive and just as incredible as the initial raptors did, the obviously much larger versions of these raptors they had released prior, which I believe were 1/6 scale. And I love the addition of these really cool bases that you can kind of like display the raptors in jumping positions and everything. And on top of that, having the Beasts of the Mesozoic logo on them is really cool. A little bit of a switch up from the normal bases you see associated with the different figures in the Beasts of the Mesozoic line. And you can also see that you can position them in ways that they don't have to be up on that stand where they have the, like, you know, standing position. And we also have a look at some of the 1/18th scale ceratopsians, and they as well look just as beautiful as the larger versions did. I think many people will be very excited to see, like, the Protoceratops specifically getting a smaller size figure, because the original one, the first initial one, was really big, and I'm thinking maybe some people may have passed on it due to the size. So you have, of course, every option available when it comes to a larger or a smaller size. And I'm really excited to see the alternate species of Protoceratops entering the line, which was not in the initial line. And we also have the Psittacosaurus included as well, which is absolutely gorgeous. And again, it's just so impressive how they look pretty much just like the larger versions did. Really, really beautiful work on the part of the Beasts of the Mesozoic. And we actually also have a look at the Fan's Choice version of the Medusaceratops in package. This is, again, probably one of my most anticipated ceratopsians, I think, that they've released in the ceratopsian series, just because the paint scheme and paint application is so unreasonably beautiful looking. I can't wait to get this one in my hands. And the packaging is pretty much your standard when it comes to the ceratopsian series, but it's just as beautiful as the figure itself. And then as far as Guilherme Bilinski Art, he has teased us with this image here showing off a really cool head sculpt that he is working on. He has stated that this will be a 1/20th scale model, and I'm really intrigued to see the rest of this as he progresses and finishes it off. But we do have a few figures, I believe, in line in front of this, so it'll probably take a while before we see the finished product, but I will enjoy every update that he posts. And then as far as Nanmu goes, they have given us a sneak peek of another figure that we will be getting from them. And as you can see from this image, we know straight away who it is. It is the Giganotosaurus from Jurassic World Dominion. And quite interestingly, probably about 2 weeks or so ago, maybe 3 weeks, they had put up that kind of family image that they have where all of the figures they currently have out for sale are included. And when one figure is missing, that's a sign that it's been retired. I'm not sure how many people know that, but that's how it usually works. And Interestingly enough, missing from the image was the Giganotosaurus, so immediately I started to think, oh, well, we might be getting a new Giga, and here we are going to be getting one again, the Jurassic World Dominion version, and it looks beautiful here from what we can see on this image. But of course, as you can see at the bottom there, we will have to wait until July to get a good idea of how beautiful. And then as far as the Jurassic World Dominion line, we actually have some very interesting figures coming from the Movie Mates line, something that I've never heard of prior. I would imagine this is probably brand new, or to me at least. You can see that we have some very interesting dinosaur figures that are said to be hyper-articulated, although I don't really see too much hyper-articulation, almost just like standard articulation on the figures. But you obviously can tell we have a Giganotosaurus, a T-Rex, and Velociraptor Blue included in the line. I think the figures look really cool. They would look better if the tails weren't so thick on the Giga and Rex, but they still look alright, and I'll definitely be picking these up again if I can find them, because sometimes Jurassic World stuff is a little tricky to get a hold of, but hopefully I'll be able to snag these guys at some point when they release. And then as far as Mattel goes, and thank you to Collect Jurassic and Toyopolis for this information, but you can see we will be getting a very interesting racetrack that includes a Giganotosaurus. Now, myself, I'm not too interested in the racetrack itself, but I really like the Giga that we have there. Unfortunately, as Dino Mike Mac pointed out to me, it looks as though the Giga is attached to the base there, which is definitely a bit on the sad side. I would love to have seen it disconnect, and maybe it can. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess, but definitely a cool looking Giganotosaurus and an interesting set that I'm sure plenty of people will be picking up. And the final thing I have is, again, thanks to Dino Mike Mac and Toyopolis UK, who had put up this image earlier of some really cool Extreme Damage figures, two of which we already have seen before. I don't unfortunately own them, but I would love to get them in my collection, and hopefully we will all have a chance, as you have the Pyroraptor and the Quilmosaurus up there on the top. Really dying to get that Quilmosaurus in my hands. But as you can see there on the bottom, we have the Atrociraptor, as well as another very interesting looking figure, which straight away I want to say I really like the coloration of, but that one kind of struck me as I'm not too sure exactly what type of species that is, and according to Toyopolis, it appears as though this is a Geniodectes, and that is a very, very obscure species. Potentially the most obscure, I think, that Mattel has released. Like, I was really impressed with them releasing a Seats or a Quilmosaurus, but a Geniodectes, that's just like so random of them. And one that I'm really excited about just because it's a species I definitely do not have in my collection. I'm just still a little shocked that it's a figure we will be getting in the Mattel line. So really cool stuff yet again coming for the Jurassic World Dominion line from Mattel. So as of right now, guys, that's all the news I've got. When more comes out, I'll be sure to send it your way. But until then, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.